Hello everybody, welcome back to Max Reviews, and today we have our first requested random review. So if you don't know, last week I had this video. It was top 5 favorite movies of 2010, and then a bunch of you were saying in the comments that True Grit, there's two of you that usually check out and do the comments in my video there. So you guys recommended True Grit, so I decided to check it out, and it was actually really good. So I decided to do a review on it to tell you guys my thoughts. This is Max Reviews. I'm Braden. Let's just get talking about it. And True Grit. So when I'd first seen this in the comment section, they said it was a great movie for 2010. I saw it and I thought it was the old one from 1969 I've seen with John Wayne, and I guess they remade it. I never had heard about it, and so it was on Netflix, and I checked it out, and it was actually really good, I gotta say. So, this, for 2010, I said it was a solid list. This one definitely makes it on this list. This movie makes it into my top 5 favorite movies of 2010. That's how much I liked it. But the big thing in this movie is the cast is the thing that immediately, that's what made me, if this was some other random western, then I might not have checked it out. But the cast looked really good. First off, you have the big standout here, Hailee Steinfeld. This is her first performance in an actually theatrically released film, and she's amazing in this movie. The guy Hobrix, he's the one that recommended it. He said this might be your best performance, and I would have to agree with that. She gives a great performance in this movie with her emotions, and I checked it up. She was actually 14 when she did this. Her greatest performance, and she's only kept doing great stuff with True Grit, with being in Bumblebee, best Transformer movie so far. I've only seen 2, so cut me some slack with that. And then she's also been in Hawkeye, which she was great in Hawkeye. Such a fun character in the show, and I think the best character in the Hawkeye show. So she's been doing great. Next, you have Jeff Bridges, who I actually had to check him up, because he seemed very familiar. He plays Rooster Cogburn, True Grit. Two main characters, Rooster Cogburn, and I've only seen him in Iron Man when he plays Obadiah Stane. And so he plays a pretty different performance, and he also gives a great performance here. Really love it. Matt Damon's in the movie, and he does a great job as Ranger I think it is. I don't know. And then you also have Josh Brolin, Thanos / Cable, who I looked at the cast. I'm like, oh, he's in it. And then he was in it a ton, but what he does is fine. It's just cool to see him. It's a different sort of role for him. And then you also have Domhnall Gleeson, the guy that plays General Hux and the guy from Peter Rabbit. I recognized him, so it's just cool to see him in this movie. But just in general, the big three are Jeff Bridges, Hailee Steinfeld, and Matt Damon in these roles as these characters. They give great performances as this girl, Hailee Steinfeld, Maddie, who's going to find the person that killed her father and to kill him. And so it's a revenge story. And I really do sort of like these revenge stories, action sort of oriented thing. And this one's in the Wild West, and I like how it starts. It's slower with an older version of Hailee Steinfeld's character narrating. And this narration goes mostly, beginning, end of the movie, maybe a bit in between. But she says that this guy killed her dad, and so she's going to go kill him. And that's just such a really great point to start on. And then we meet her, and she's resourceful, she's strong-willed, and she's willing to get her hands dirty. She's there's some strong-willed people in these sort of movies that they have no idea what they're doing and they just mess everything up. No, she actually knows what she's doing. She actually does shoot some guys in the movie, and she actually does stuff, which is really great. And then also, she's not annoying, but she's strong-willed, resourceful, stronger character, but she's not annoying, as some of these characters are. So she's really great in this role as our main character. And then you get Rooster Cogburn, who in the 1969 film, he's played by John Wayne, who I think he's just, pretty standard John Wayne performance. I haven't seen the movie in like 4 years, maybe 5, maybe 6. It's been a while. But as I was watching the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, this is from the other movie. And when I thought about the scenes in the other movies, such as in the pit with the snakes, or meeting Rooster Cogburn for the first time, or all these little details or stuff like going to the cabin and then putting the jacket on top of the cabin to get the smoke into the cabin, all that stuff seemed extremely familiar to me, like in the old movie. But in this movie, I think it's done quite a bit better. Like, it's executed better. Like, a great example of this scene, which I can't 100% go in with this. I haven't seen the 1969 movie for a very long time, but when they put when Haley Steinfeld falls into the pit of snakes in the 1969, it's like snakes and and creepy and like, oh wow, and then John Wayne's got to get her out of there. In this movie, it has panic, like she's trying to get free, and it builds the tension. Then she gets bit, but she doesn't freak out and scream. No, she actually is like, I got bit. That's about all she says. And so that just works a lot better in this movie. It's executed quite a bit better. The action doesn't happen as much as it does in other westerns, but when the action happens, it's really good. And it has a snappy and witty sense of humor to it, where there's these little gags throughout the movie of, like, Haley Steinfeld making the cigarettes for Rooster Cogburn, or Rooster Cogburn getting drunk and throwing cornbread and then shooting it in a shootout against Matt Damon, which just, this stuff in the 1969 movie, it didn't work as well with John Wayne. I think John Wayne, pretty nice actor and stuff, but he didn't do it as well as Jeff Bridges does. Jeff Bridges just gives such a great performance in this movie, and this movie has a bit more brutality to it, I would say. So I really enjoyed this movie. And when we actually get to the guy that killed her dad, she actually shoots him, which is just great. And then he's still fine, and then she has this very interesting exchange with the leader of the guys. He's not the guy that killed her dad, but he's the leader of this team group thing, and the guy who killed her dad is with this group. And so Josh Brolin, the guy that killed her dad, he doesn't really have that big of a character, but that's okay because we're still focusing on Haley Steinfeld, Matt Damon, and Jeff Bridges, who all do great. The shootout, great. Just really liked this movie quite a bit. And I don't usually score these random reviews, but I think I do it this time. So this movie was really great. Before I give you my score, I just want to say thank you, Hobrix, for recommending this. Really great movie. And other parts to this, if I had to re-rank my video that came out last week for top 5 2010, my first is still gonna be Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. My second is still gonna be Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And then my third is actually gonna be Dire Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules. My fourth is gonna be True Grit, and then my fifth is gonna be The Help, kicking Captain America: The First Avenger out of that list. But this comes in fourth for that list, and I really do like those movies, so that's how good this one was. And so for my final score on the entertainment scale, I'm gonna give this an A-, and overall it's a 9 out of 10. I really like how this movie ends with Haley Steinfeld and Rooster Cogburn dying. So it's sort of I just really like this movie. Thank you guys for recommending it. It's just great to actually get some recommendations. Any more recommendations, feel free to leave them down below. And yeah, just thank you for recommending this. Had a great time watching it and having fun going through it. Still open to suggestions. Like, subscribe. Braden out.